Octopath Traveler 0 just might be my RPG of 2026. And it came out last year. I did not expect that we would get another game in this series in less than 3 years after the sequel came out, and for that game to be a port of the mobile game Champions of the Continent, a prequel to the first game. And yet the game was nothing like I expected. The gameplay, the story, the world, and the music are so different, so unusual, and so underwhelming at times, but it's so well done regardless, and I am going to yap about it right now. Yes, I'm like 2 months late. You're still gonna watch, right? The craziest thing about Octopath Traveler 0 is that it took its unique story structure and threw it in the garbage. Instead of having 8 different stories with 8 different protagonists and 8 different prologues and goals, now you only have one story with one protagonist, one prologue, and one goal. Would you look at that? They decided to make a normal video game now. It's not groundbreaking or anything, but for Octopath Traveler, it is, which is why it surprised me so much. You begin in your hometown of Wishvale, before it is all burned to the ground by 3 villains, kickstarting your adventure for revenge and restoration.
Are you going to rebuild Wishvale?
They had more restraint this time, limiting the amount of chapters that are available at any given moment. Like, this is the first time that I actually could just pick a path and stick with that path instead of running around like a maniac. I feel like it made the story so much easier to follow. It's much more obvious how events connect together, and having a single protagonist helps tie everything together better. It's no longer a collection of stories set apart in the same world. It's a collection of story arcs that build off of each other. I don't really know how else to say it. It's a normal story. So to the people that complained about this in the other games, here you go. But that came with a price. The world isn't nearly as fun to explore anymore. The Octopath games can be likened to an open world, where you can travel from place to place as you desire, with the only thing guiding you are the chapter markers, levels, and how brave you are. You could literally go anywhere. I loved heading to the next objective and stumbling upon an optional dungeon, finding gear and fighting bosses. And yet I couldn't do that with Octopath 0. It sucks. Seriously, it blows. I'm deleting the game right now. Overall, the world is much smaller. What do you mean there's only one town in the Clifflands? And while there might still be some optional dungeons, I found that many of them aren't actually optional. I can recall at least 2 incidents where I went inside a cave thinking maybe I'll get something good, only to be told by the game that I'm actually stupid because the story was gonna send me there anyways. Awesome. And most of the time, you're encouraged to just remain in one place. Why bother going to literally anywhere else when every important objective is right here? There isn't anything stopping you from going to the late game areas, but there's no incentive. It didn't ruin my enjoyment of the game, but it is the one change I dislike the most. Fortunately, that is the only major change I disliked.
Let's do this.
The battle system retains many of the core mechanics that made me love this game. The break, the boost, and the big damage numbers. God, I love the big damage numbers. But this time, instead of fighting in parties of 4, you're fighting in parties of 8.
This will make a good paper.
One might think that this is a bit excessive, but being able to create pairings that you could switch on the fly opens up a whole nother layer of strategy I didn't even think was possible.
It's yours. Now.
Sorry about this.
A double strike.
The game really encourages you to swap. Sometimes it'll force you. You will be swapping your characters. There's about 30 unlockable characters, each specializing in a set of skills that are good for mitigating damage, whittling shield points down, and sometimes just dealing crazy damage numbers.
A finishing blow!
Holy fuck. Man, I love Gender Benticati. There's so much you can do to customize your characters and your party that it gets to the point where it's a bit overwhelming. I wish that the game just pushed me to utilize the mechanics more. It's so much easier to ignore all of this stuff because the game is just easy. Bro, this guy's only like 4 levels above me. Why is he killing me? And once you find the team that works for you, every other party member you unlock can just sit in the bench.
Amen.
I still enjoyed this different take on the combat system, and honestly, I wouldn't mind if this style carried over into future games. I can almost see the vision. It's just, can you guys add a hard mode next time or something? I'm begging, man.
It's over! My
training has paid off.
I'll be honest, I wasn't entirely sure about this town building feature. I wasn't sure if this was going to be a pointless distraction or if I was going to commit to it. I haven't been invested in some kind of town building, town creation, whatever, since like the early days of Minecraft, okay? Like my time is over, bro. I'm old. But surprisingly, I found this to be really chill. I could put a windmill? Where the fuck am I putting this, bro? It's so nice to just come back to this area after wrapping up a story chapter to just place a couple of houses, maybe invite a couple of NPCs that you find along the way. It feels pretty robust. There's a lot of decorations and buildings that you can place. I'm sure that you can create some really nice looking towns if you put in the effort and know what you're doing. I think, maybe, I don't know. Don't look at mine. Pretty good, right? I think the best part about this though for me is that it inspires a lot of hope. This game is pretty dark, yet the whole rebuilding of Wishvale remains as one of the most hopeful and uplifting parts about the game. It's so wholesome seeing these scattered members return with a renewed sense of purpose. Is it possible to feel like crying but not actually cry? Because that's how this part of this game makes me feel sometimes. It's technically not optional, you still need to advance the town enough to progress the story, and honestly, some of these perks are just too good to pass up. Changing parties from the menu? They listen to me, guys, they listen to my video. You're welcome. I might not be the best builder in the world, but they managed to make Wishvale feel just like home. Normally, by this point, I should have already talked about the visuals and music and how amazing they are, but for the first time, I don't feel that strongly about them. And that's mostly because Octopath Traveler 0 doesn't really have an identity to call of its own. It borrows a lot from the past games, the upgraded presentation of the second game, the core visual style of the first, and music from both. The only thing that's new is that you can see elite monsters in the field, which is cool, and that the water is now bluer. Why did they make this change? I mean, it makes sense why they would reuse a lot of stuff from the past. This game takes place in the same world as Octopath Traveler 1. If it didn't look like Octopath Traveler 1, then where the hell are we? It's not like there weren't any new tracks. You got a new battle theme, a new boss theme that should have played more in the game. Wishvale Trail, the main theme, like there is some good songs here. But I kind of just wish that it had more, you know? Still though, I'm honestly cool with it. It's not like the old songs are outdated. Walking around in this world again, listening to that classic melody from Octopath Traveler 1 play in the familiar areas, got me nostalgic over my first playthrough. If you ever hear me criticize the old music, it's because I am dead. And like, it's just impossible to not get excited hearing old boss themes again, brought back in new context, bro. Critical Clash 2 is in this game. I care a lot about the game's visuals and music, if you couldn't tell. I mean, it's half the reason why I even play these games. Yeah, I wish there was some new stuff, but that's okay. Now it's just good fan service. Oh yeah, Champions of the Continent. Yeah, that game had music. Instead of the game focusing on 8 heroes, this time it's focused on 8 villains, which might just be cooler. In each chapter arc, you are facing off against one of the main villains. Each of them have their own character, dungeon, transition, and boss theme, all built around a recognizable motif, just like they would with the protagonists of the past. It's so good. It's a different kind of hype this time. It really makes the lead up to the boss fight feel way more impactful. Instead of feeling like we're gonna kick ass, now it's like we're facing a real threat. Although the game is still easy, but it's the music that matters to me the most. I don't get it. I don't know how he does it, but for some reason these songs just keep hitting. It does something to my brain, and these boss themes are literal perfection. This is where Champions of the Continent's music lies. And just like every other song Nishiki has composed, it's peak. And he's dead, just like that. Wow, easy game. Who would have thought?
Power are consumed by that very power.
You want to know why they call this game Zero? It's because it has zero chill. Slavery, drugs, a serial killer's diary, mind break, death, and more death. It's almost comedic how often NPCs are slaughtered before your eyes. It gets to a point where you can't look at two of them standing next to each other without assuming one will stab the other. It is so cruel. It will torture you, make you feel powerless against the villains. Seriously, the Master of Power section was arguably the worst I've ever felt playing through these games. It just felt like no matter what I did, the villain just kept winning. Why did he keep winning? I hate this guy. It's so engaging, so enthralling. It made me so anxious about what may happen next. I could never predict where the plot would turn, how characters would act, and whether or not they lived. Plus, there were some pretty cool developments and fucked up moments that I really want to spoil so badly, but I guess I'll do that some other day. If I had to really criticize anything about it, it's the silent protagonist, which sucks. I need you to say something, please. The story doesn't really get that interesting until after you beat the first set of villains, and the momentum kind of dies near the end of the game for me. But throughout 90% of my time playing this game, I was hooked. If you bounced off the other games because of their disconnected storytelling, then this is the one to play.
Stay with the rear guard. Defend the king with your life.
Can I just kill him instead? But the single greatest thing that I love about Octopath Traveler 0 is that it really redeemed a lot of the problems I had with Octopath Traveler 1. I have a special attachment to that game. If you couldn't tell, you likely have seen this video before. But it's not perfect, nor complete, to be honest. I could never escape that feeling that there was just something missing in that game. And as the series evolved, its flaws just became more apparent. I'll just say it. Octopath 1 is a tech demo, but I still love that tech demo. And Zero just makes me feel appreciated for being a fan since the beginning. A lot of the lore in the first game got expanded. It really feels like I'm actually in a place with real people and real politics. Like, what? We actually have a pope here? And he has influence? Hello? There's actual kings and queens and names and not just some random princess we teach with Cyrus. It's also just fun going through this game and just seeing a bunch of the old characters, both heroes and villains, make their way into the main story. I was not expecting to see Zeph, of all people, in a mainline chapter, nor did I think I would talk to one of the final bosses of Octopath Traveler 1 in this game so early on. It was just so rewarding to see all of the lore that was established in that end game of Octopath 1 actually get expanded upon. Thank you, Octopath Traveler 0. You technically already did this in the mobile game, but thank you nonetheless.
Your sword arm truly is impressive. Why don't you join my forces?
This guy cheats, by the way. Octopath Traveler 0 surprised me. Despite being so strange, it still managed to be a marvelous experience that I'll be thinking about for quite some time. I think I still prefer Octopath Traveler 2 overall, but 0 is up there as a strong contender, and easily a much better game overall than 1. It has its ups and downs, but I still think it's worth it for anyone looking for a long RPG to sink their teeth into. It's like $50 and you can easily clear 80 if you just do a bunch of side content like
Thunder!
Holy
Follow the melody.
And obviously, if you're a fan of Octopath Traveler, then this game is a no-brainer. If the team behind Octopath can combine the best of this game with 2, then we might be looking at something special with the inevitable Octopath 3. It might be a stretch to say that this is my RPG of 2026, but if nothing comes out to surpass it, then it might as well be, because this series doesn't miss.
I summon thee, excellent!